All right. So my name is Alfredo. I work for the Zcash Foundation, mainly in the Zebra part. This is the Zcash Arborist Call for May 1st, 2025. A pretty big agenda to cover. In regards to the updates, we'll give updates for Zebra. Then there are going to be some updates about the libraries and the wallet the ACC is working on. An update for single apps. In regards to Zeno, if the first three was not covered, we'll talk about Zcash deprecation. Then we'll give some updates about research and implementation, edit CSH, that's network sustainability mechanism, Crosslink, and finally Frost. And at the end, we will discuss any topics we want to discuss further. What are Arborist calls? Big weekly calls where Zcash developers get together to discuss process, timelines, efforts, design, etc. The purpose is to make the Zcash development more accessible for a wider set of participants, provide more transparency for the community at large. Anyone can participate in the Arborist call. You just need to send an email to get invited. The email is posted in the screen. There are other ways to get involved, the Zcash community grants, the Discord, and the Zcash forums. All these links are available in zcasharborist.org. So let's start with the Zebra updates from the Zcash Foundation. I think Marek is the one for doing that. Are you there? Okay, I think Marek is not here. Should we move on to the ECC updates and then get back to that? You want to do that, Chris?
Yep. So the majority of the work that ECC has been engaged in the last 2 weeks has been making progress on Zale. Zsend Many is complete at this point. There's still I still have to review the PR one more time, but we've also improved the help documentation and whatnot around Zale. The ZWIF integration is still ongoing. The other thing is Dara and Strad have been putting forward a bunch of effort towards review of the Kedit PRs for ZSAs. So that has been our focus over the past couple of weeks.
Cool. Yeah, Salid's going pretty good. I have been following in the last 1 or 2 weeks. Marek, are you there now? We can't hear you, Marek, or I can't at least.
Well, I can't either.
Let's move on to anyone from Single App.
I see Arlo, but is an attendee. Oh yeah, he raised his hand. So if anyone can promote him.
Hey, yeah, so in terms of Zeno, last week, 2 weeks, we've mainly been working to get milestone 3 of our grant finished off, just to make sure we can unlock payment and carry on working on things. We're very close to that, so the JSON RPC server is now in a PR ready for review. That should be merged today, tomorrow, and then the restate service backend should be landing some point next week. We're hoping to get all of that finished by the end of next week, so we can put a little bit of time into focusing on all the kind of issues that have been raised in Zeno and reworking a few things there for Zale and other consumers.
Cool. So if I remember correctly, one of the blockers for Saled was that Zeno is not serving full blocks. So if that's what you said about the read estate PR that is going to be landing next week.
So Zeno does serve full blocks. It doesn't. It currently doesn't build block ranges correctly for Zale, and that's what we will be working on as soon as we get this milestone complete. There's a couple of things we have to rework, kind of slightly lower level to make that actually work in Zeno.
Okay, cool. Paco, do you want to talk about Zcash deprecation? Give updates?
Yeah, mainly I booked this space to have like a small section of the call for Zcash deprecation. If anyone wants to give any announcements or bring up anything related to that, given that this call overlaps the call we have every Thursday, so every other Thursday. So I didn't want the opportunity to miss that. I'm given the announcement that has been said by Arlo. The moment we have the JSON RPC on Zeno, I'll try to start working on the formerly Nighthawk block explorer support for with Zino and Zebra. We expect a few things to blow up, but it's going to be like the starting point for that. And I wanted to bring up there's a read-only version of a spreadsheet that people can see on the c.cash/deprecation, I think, page that we've been sharing. But there's also a read-only spreadsheet that has the full list of RPCs that are involved in Zcash deprecation, or Zcash Z3 as we like to call it recently, and it's useful for people to check it out. We're going to share it here in the chat. Probably our note taker will be able to post it on the notes that are published after these calls. And we invite everyone to see this checklist, which has a lot of use cases. It covers Block Explorers, Inside Explorer, Nighthawk Explorer, and a couple of mining pools and exchanges we've been surveying. If anyone seeing this call, watching this call, sees that they are using RPCs that are not checked here, please reach out and we'll get in touch and hand you the survey so that we have your input here. Although it's never too late, but it's not early. So don't be shy and reach out. That's what I want to bring up here. And I don't know if anyone wants to bring up anything on Zcash Z3, formerly Zcash deprecation. This is the slot. Otherwise, we'll continue with the agenda of the call.
Arlo?
Yeah, I was having a look at that spreadsheet just earlier in terms of getting Nighthawk running, and there was one RPC which I didn't have down as needed for Block Explorer support, which was the Get Blocks Subsidy RPC. So I just wanted to check that that is definitely required for Nighthawk.
I'll double check. We do have a little bit more messy GitHub thread that that has also the list here. And
yeah, that RPC. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes.
That RPC is a pure functional one, so it's not dependent on change state, I think, except possibly the current height. I'm not sure. But it is quite useful because yeah, the subsidy can change according to the consensus rules, so it can be hard to compute if you're not up to date with those.
Cool. Thank you there.
So,
Yeah, I just wanted to remind people, or maybe people who haven't seen it yet, or if you run a Zcash node, you will definitely have seen this, because the latest Zcash release puts it right in your face when you try to start Zcash and forces you to know. But we have a canonical URL now for Zcash deprecation, and if there's things that you want to be directed to that you would like to be on that page, let us know. That's where, as the deployment side gets worked out and that story gets built up, that this will be where that ends up being explained to people. And yeah, on the, I think, yeah, the two interesting notes in the last patch from me for this. There was a user question in, I think, the forum about, like, is it possible to migrate from an existing Zcash to a ZebraD without having to just like sync from scratch? And part of the answer is that in theory, it should be possible for Zebra to just directly pull from your local running Zcash node. Zcash have always been able to do this. There's a whitelisting thing that you can force Zcash to specifically use a given local node. But additionally, we have all the block data on disk. We should just be able to pull it. So I put together an initial working example for doing that migration, and it's thrown up some like edge cases that we'll need to work around. It looks at the moment like it would be easier to do as a separate tool, but I don't have a good place for that, because really it is a Zebra, like it would make sense as part of the Zebra CLI, because it's a, set up a Zebra node from a Zcash node is functionally what this tool would be doing. But it looks at the moment, due to limitations in Zebra, that this would require more, like it would require level DB supported built into Zebra to be able to read Zcash's database there. So it might make more sense as a helper tool binary that lives alongside the Zebra repo. I'm not quite sure. If people have thoughts about if people would be interested in using such a tool and have opinions on how it should work, let us know in the R&D Discord, in the Zebra channel in the R&D Discord, or on the PR, which that's currently open, which is, I had it open and I have 9472 on the Zcash Foundation repos where it currently is. Yeah, so if there's thoughts about where that could live or how that could go, there's no, because that would then mean that like you can just take your existing Zcash with its fully synced chain data and transmogrify it locally into a Zebra state that you could then just start up and connect to the network from, but from a position of like an already trusted base.
Marek is suggesting on the chat that it could go to Zebra utils.
Yeah, if you like, whatever makes the most sense for Zebra usage and whatever. So yeah, just leave comments to that effect, and we can figure out what we do there. And then the other thing is, yeah, obviously just in the realm of trying to make Zale easy to use, I just threw together yesterday OpenRPC support into Zale, which is basically it gives you a JSON RPC response that encodes a JSON RPC schema for what the RPC itself supports. So it allows for introspection, and you could choose to generate client data from it or whatever. It's probably got bugs, but if people are interested in playing around with it and giving feedback, then we can make that easy to go. And that should just help with like discoverability of particularly the changes to the RPC, because it will more precisely specify what the RPC interface is, which was previously essentially just documented in the code of Zcash.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Strap.
I want to do that for Zebra because in the past, in a hackathon sprint, I made it with Open API, which is a not very good fit for the JSON IP that we have. So I'm looking forward to apply something like that to Zebra to replace that. So I'll definitely take a look of how you did it to start and install it. In regard to Explorer, I was going to say that we have the Zcash Explorer repo in the Zcash organization. I think we should
Oh
try to
yes.
start to make the changes there because what I'm seeing now is that people has forks, and I guess it would be good to unify there. Uh, I think it would be good to modify the Explorer to remove all the functionality that we don't have, and then we kind of slowly add those. Well, another thing we need to do is to connect to Zeno as well, and try to have a basic version of the Explorer working, then build on top of that. I think it would be great. Um, yeah, but anyways, any, anything else in regards to Zcash deprecation?
I don't think so. Thank you for bringing it up, Alfredo. The Block Explorer, now living under, also living under the Zcash org.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if we have someone for Kelly to talk about CSAs.
Vivek is around,
Yeah,
I think.
hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Go for
So
it.
yeah, I can give the CSA update. We have a few general updates. So regarding the zips, I think the pull requests that we had open last time on the zips repo have been merged. We opened a new PR recently, PR 1009, but that's pretty much, I think, just a rearrangement of a section of the zip, no like significant changes over there. That's on the zip side. On the implementation side, I think, like as Chris mentioned, the ECC has been reviewing our work over the last few weeks. So the status of that is, I think the changes to the Synsomnia crate that we suggested, those have been merged. The changes in Halo 2, they were reviewed. We had a discussion on, I think something was pending there, but we just an update to Strad. I think we made those changes that you suggested that we had missed in our meeting. So that I think is ready for review again.
Cool.
Yeah, in Orchard, it's I think a more informal review that was done at the start, and there's I think some discussion that we still are like in the process of doing with the ECC on making those changes. What we did do in Orchard is we caught up to the upstream changes as of maybe last week or something like that. So that's good. On Libra Zcash, we've made the changes that were there, like as like we've been making changes regarding the changes that were done in the zip in the last in the zips in the last few months. So we've made those changes across like Orchard and Libra Zcash as well, but we have some work to do to catch Libra Zcash up to the latest upstream changes. We've also, like on the Zebra side, we've also made most, I think, of the changes that were there to the zips. I'm not 100% sure if we are like completely done with that part of it. We've been syncing with the Zcash Foundation on that work, like through internal PRs, but I think we might be also putting an actual PR to upstream at some point soon for like a more formal review. So on, I guess in the last bit is the Zcash transaction tool. There we've been making improvements to the CI and like the general ability to use the transaction tool to create your own scenarios for testing. Testing as in of ZSA's issuance, transfer, burn, finalization, things like that. Yeah, I think that covers what we've been up to last couple of weeks.
Cool. Any question? Okay, let's move on. Network sustainability mechanism from Shielded Labs. Do we have someone?
Sure. Yeah, I can take this. We are in the rebase merge dance right now with the majority of the PRs. There's a pull request in Zebra. If you recall, we created pull request and we merged pull requests having to do with the NU7 and transaction V6 variants. And we just merged those, and now the rebased versions of the 233, 234, 235 NSM PRs are much smaller and much easier to review and ready to merge, but they're ordered. So the Zebra one needs to wait until the Libra Zcash PR is merged, and then the Zebra one can be merged. And there's also a Zcash test vectors PR that can be merged asynchronously to either of those, I believe. So I think the laser focus right now should be on reducing any friction to Libra Zcash's merge, and then getting Zebra's thing merged, and then 233 will be in. 234 and 235 are still just kind of in Git limbo right now. We're rebasing those against main, but I believe once all this is taken care of, those can be reviewed as well. Thank you.
Cool. So, Chris, is there any kind of timeline or something to check that out in Libra Zcash?
Actually,
Or
the
maybe
ball's in
already
our
doing?
court. I should clarify the
Okay.
ball in our and Iger's court to just rebase. There was a Clippy issue, and the PR just needs to get rebased against that. So it's not in Chris or anybody else's court.
Great. Any question? Okay. Any updates for Crosslink?
Yeah, may I share a video?
Yeah, sure. I think I need to stop sharing.
Okay. All right, can you see that video?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hello, Arborist, and welcome to another Shielded Labs update. Today we're going to talk a bit about the new UI improvements and some more about BFT. So the key thing that we've added is this node jump to and tracking interface. The main, or a common use for this, at least in practice so far, has been tracking a tip with negative bytes. And you can see the camera just as new blocks get added to the proof of work chain in this internal minor version. Very shortly, once we've got enough blocks, we will start getting some BFT blocks, and there we go.
Yeah, so what's new as well is that these BFT blocks we have going here now, this time contain a real payload. And this is, still early, but it's, pursuing the actual design of Crosslink now, where we have the payload contains an array of proof of work headers. And this is because illustrated by the arrow is the proof of work block being finalized by the BFT chain. And then also, if Andrew highlights one of them, you'll see it highlights a number of proof of work blocks ahead. And that's the amount of proof of work that was done already on top of this block that's being finalized. And we intern those into the payload for the BFT to avoid unnecessary changes to Zebra that would otherwise come from needing to track these extra blocks, right? Because it may be that if there is forking in the proof of work chain, sort of small low-level forking, that some of these some of the proof of work that's included in needing to finalize a block might have been on a slight side chain that then doesn't end up in the main chain. And so by including those in the BFT payload, we minimize the amount that the rest of Zebra has to track in terms of remembering blocks that didn't end up in the final chain and got dropped some time ago.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think that's all we have for this call. So we'll say goodbye for now and catch you with an update soon. See you, everyone.
Thank you.
That's all from
Okay.
us.
Cool. I think I have a ticket open in somewhere in Shielded Labs for the Crosslink development repo you have about Crosslink TLA plus specification. I have been working on that. I think I will. So I'm not expecting anything from it. It just helped me understand how the system works, and maybe other people will find it useful. I'll try to post it by the end of this week, and yeah, in that issue I have.
Cool, that's awesome. Connect with me on the Discord or Signal or whatever if you have any specific questions as you work through that.
Yeah, cool. Would be great if you could take a look.
Okay, cool.
Okay, any more questions for Crosslink? Okay. So in regards to Frost, I think the Frost people is on holiday today, so I don't think we have anyone to keep the updates. Okay, so do you want to discuss, extend on some and anything we already spoke or whatever? Anyone want to suggest some topic? Oh,
I
Marek.
can give the Zebra update. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine now. Sorry.
Great. As regards Zebra, we will soon be releasing version 2.3. There will be one breaking change for node operators who run ZebraD in Docker, and that is that the RPC endpoint will no longer be enabled by default in Docker images. So people who run ZebraD in Docker will need to enable it manually in the config. Other than that, in the last 2 weeks, we continued working on Zcash deprecation. The work mainly revolved around RPCs and fixing various bugs and inconsistencies with Zcash. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Thank you, Marek. Yeah, so for discussion, anyone want to raise any topic or announcement, discussion? Back.
Okay, really kind of off topic, not related to protocol specifically, but given some question Nate asked in the chat, I came up with this idea of the Zcash, the Zcasher wish list, which is a topic in the forums. To there are a lot of things that we would like to have, and maybe other projects have, or others, or maybe they don't have, but we would like to have in Zcash. It can be something really simple as a dashboard, or something really complex. But the important thing is that you raised your idea, and we can sense I don't know how much acceptance it has in the community, how many likes it has, and then create a list of things that people would like to have and post it on the ZecDev blog. So for builders to have some wish list there, and maybe they'll build some of the items there. So it's a little bit of a game, fun thing to do, and we invite everyone to post their wishes for the Zcash project, what they like to see, what they like to have, the nice things they like to have or see on Zcash, and so we can make them visible, and they'll maybe materialize. I left the link in the notes in the chat, so it can be added in the notes of the.
Cool. Thanks, Paco. Another topic for discussion. Okay, I guess if there is none, we could finish early. So the next Arborist call will be May 15 and at the later 21 UTC time. Thanks everyone for coming. It was great to see you all. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Nice
Bye,
work
thanks.
Thursday.